Good evening, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to attend this year's AGM. Tonight will be the first AGM conducted virtually in the history of the club, and can I take the opportunity to thank Theo Baker from Wales Golf for his support behind the scenes in helping us this evening. Each year, as you know, I update the members with a short presentation and provide you with what has gone on this year and our plans for the 12 months ahead. And I think it's fair to say that this presentation will have an overriding theme. I've entitled it The Road to Recovery because I firmly believe that's what it is, and what we need to try and achieve is recovery and a chance for us to reset following one of the most difficult periods in the club's history. So let's start with what is the major challenge, and we all know that the challenge of COVID-19 came our way. March the 28th was a day certainly no one will ever forget, with the closure of golf clubs around the country. National lockdowns were followed by regional lockdowns, with club members facing government laws meaning that they couldn't travel. The swift changes reduced income and our revenue streams across the club almost instantly. But the furlough scheme provides some support for the club, and I'll go on to talk about some of the other changes that came our way in a few moments. The club faced pretty much constant change from the Welsh Government, our friends, and I can assure you that that is not a club tie, and of course our friends at governing body at Wales Golf, which were imposed on the club and that the club didn't have an influence over, and in most cases were law. The clubhouse changed significantly, and the way in which we operated the clubhouse again was something that we had to react to in terms of the guidelines and laws that were being passed down to us. Our staff had to get used to doing things differently. We had table service, the use of visors, masks, a table service, just to name just a few, and that became a real challenge, and it's something that we had to train our staff in quickly. Tea time booking became compulsory for all forms of golf, and this was linked to the track and trace program, which everyone is aware of, and was implemented across the whole of the business from the professional shop and every time that you sat and drank in the bar or played golf on our golf course. The implementation of face masks, hand sanitizers, seating plans, all pushed up PPE costs, and costs that in some ways we managed to get funding for, which is positive. But the club faced daily decision making, certainly at the height of the pandemic, and when things were changing regularly. The governing bodies were learning all the time. The government was implementing new ideas, and we had to react to that as a management team, which at times was very stressful, but I hope that we got across the information that you could come to our club nice and safely. I'll be the first to put my hand up and say that we didn't get every decision right, and we were dealing with a global pandemic for the very first time. None of us had seen this, and we had to react in a way that we could from the information that we were being given. Our priority at the time was clear communication with the members, with the staff, with the guests at all time, so that you knew what was expected of you when you came to the club, but most importantly, that it was safe. Underpinning all of this were the health and safety regulations that we as a club had to put in place by law. And if we didn't comply, the alternative was we were simply shut down, and that's not what we wanted. And the main overarching aim of all of that was to make sure that you were all safe. And that I think we achieved pretty well during the pandemic, and still do achieve that. So I want to move on to the actions that we take with the members and the club in mind. At the very beginning, we reviewed the budgets across each department and the staffing levels needed to run the club. At this point, I'd like to thank our club accounts manager, Teresa Williams, who throughout the pandemic has been phenomenal in terms of the way in which she's approached it. She's been professional and a real credit to the club. I'd also like to thank Richard Lloyd, who's the club honorary treasurer, who's taken the time in a very busy work life to work closely with Teresa and I to ensure the position of the club is secure for the future. We reviewed all of our suppliers, requesting things such as payment holidays. We cut spend across departments, including the course, as we were unsure of the length of time the lockdown period would go on for. This included a 50% cut in the course budget. We made the decision in consultation with our chair of Greens, the course manager, and in confidence that we wouldn't impact the overall condition of the golf course. Again, we were on essential maintenance during the main part of the pandemic, and this was a guideline passed down by the governing bodies for us to carry out. The furlough scheme has evolved across the nation. I'm sure many of you who own your own businesses are aware of that. And we also had to make the difficult decision to lose 3 members of staff. And unfortunately, we made those staff redundant. It was certainly a decision which we didn't want to have to make, but one which was for the future of the business, or with the future of the business in mind. Staff that were still working took wage reductions in line with the furloughed staff, again showing the commitment of our team. We renegotiated contracts, and we were one of the first clubs in Wales to implement the discount scheme for those members that are renewed by the 1st of May. We knew that the next 12 months would be difficult for all of our members and wanted to show our support for you all. The committee were in agreement that this was the fairest way possible for us to achieve this. Following meetings of the Membership and Retention Committee and discussion at F&G, the decision was made to welcome new members into the club, and I'm sure some are sat here tonight. There was uncertainty of the length of time the pandemic would go on for, and the committee acted, as we always do, the management team, in the best interests of this golf club. We now have a waiting list, and I'll be touching on membership numbers shortly. The club access grant funding also, which has been ring-fenced for capital investment in the future, and we're also waiting on a decision of the business interruption claim, which was approved by the Supreme Court just 2 weeks ago. Throughout the pandemic, members have been our priority, and what we've tried to do is that, well, firstly, we were aware that the pandemic affected people in different ways, and we needed to find new ways of trying to engage with you, the members. So first of all, it was around constant communication: videos, interviews, photos, newsletters, competitions, virtual lessons, government updates, and governing body updates, all of which take a huge amount of time. And I'd like to thank those that took the time to compliment the team for their efforts. Each member of staff at the club paid their part, contributing towards the communication, but also ensuring that the club operates in a way that our members expect, and in times that we, like I've already said, we've never ever seen before. During the pandemic, a small subgroup was set up that could meet quickly when changes were announced, and this group worked tirelessly to update the return to golf strategy, with which many of you will have read and which was updated regularly. This group worked tirelessly to update the return to golf strategy so that it was clear, safe, and most importantly, as fair as possible to all of our members. The H&C committee, along with the F&G committee, discussed introducing new weekday and weekend competitions, although the main board competitions were cancelled. We knew it was such an important part of what the club is about and what it stands for, so we implemented new competitions for the year. Throughout the pandemic, we have listened to what our members would like. We've surveyed, we've received feedback, we've listened to correspondence, and at every opportunity we have reviewed where we can. And ultimately we come back to it's a commitment of safety. I wanted to include this image because over the past 12 months, I think it's probably been, at some point, I've felt a little bit like this over the last 12 months, really ready to pull your hair out and scream at the latest government announcements, or wherever it might be. And I will add that this is my son, so I haven't stolen this image from somebody else. We all know that change is hard, and as Robin Sharma says here, it's messy in the middle and gorgeous at the end. 2020 has been an extreme in terms of the changes that have come on a very regular basis and have been stressful for everyone involved at times. Staff and members have faced pressures such as working from home whilst homeschooling and not knowing when this will just end. We have seen staff furloughed, and nobody really knew what furlough was until COVID came along and put added strain on both members and our staff. We also saw the changes in people's playing habits, with more people being on furlough or working from home. This was hugely unpredictable and caused problems with tee booking that we could simply not predict. To give you an example, from the 1st of October to the 17th of December, which is a winter period and shorter hours, we saw the course saw over 5,000 rounds go through the golf course, which is an average of 60 people a day, and is huge in comparison to other years. Combine that with over 300 millimeters of rain and the pressures to keep the course open, the course was not always in the highest standard that we would like, but it was certainly up there, still amongst the best in Wales. Tee booking became mandatory, as we know. We had things like limited seating, signs, posters, masks, and essentially rules, and more rules. As a club, and in my role as manager, I was all aware that the members were being told what to do in all areas of their lives, but most importantly, these changes that we were implementing were law, and that's what it came down to for us at the end. So where has COVID left the club? To give you an idea of where we currently sit, I presented this image going back 2 years ago now at a presentation. And this is to provide the members the opportunity to see where we are based around our competitors. Some of the clubs above have implemented short-term membership strategies, such as playing more golf, which significantly devalues the membership offering, and something we simply didn't want to do. The key aim for RADA has been to ensure the membership is of value, and the club invests in the future of the club. The other important aspect is that the club is run professionally, and with a level of transparency that you and the members are aware of what is going on at every stage, and we have very much tried to implement that. In 2020, we have increased the joining fee to £500 and insist on a non-refundable waiting list fee of £100. 5 out of the 7 clubs above have joining fees, with the other introducing theirs in 2021. So we sit exactly where I think we need to in the market at the moment. These are the current membership numbers, and the number of player members are in line 1 has not altered significantly in recent years. The number of male player members in 2020 is a benchmark that we use when thinking about tee booking, and increased by 20 from the target of 490 following the committee's decision to accept the number of members, which I've already talked about. Our 100-hole membership has worked really well, and with many in 2020 moving to a 9-hole membership, which is encouraging. Social membership has dropped, but this is a sign of COVID-19 and people not leaving and having a lack of confidence, I think, in coming out. But we hope this will pick up and recover in 2021. We are limited to 10 of our corporate memberships and have seen good support for this following the pandemic, and we'll be welcoming our final member in 2021. So that's really encouraging. Currently, we have 19 people on our waiting list. And again, it just shows the demand for golf and certainly the demand for RADA. I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are some of our short-term aims as we move through this year. Keep our members informed, sustain our membership base, which is very much something that we want to do. Sustain our level of green fee income with a view to reducing footfall. Our aim, we've put up our green fees this year, and we'll be doing so over the next few years. Resume competitive golf, of course, further improve our club image, and I'll be talking about that in a second. Increase the use of facilities, improve corporate tee signage. As I said, I'm not going to go through all of these. We will once again be encouraging or looking at our new to golf scheme, which has been so successful for us. And we will be developing our offering, and in particular the patio area, which you've received some funding for. And progress with the ambition of our club being the capital club out of those around us. This is what we achieved. A renewal percentage over 90%, growth of a junior section to nearly 100. We increased our membership to 510, our male player membership rather. Successful pathway from new to golf. We kept most of our members safe. We introduced the membership incentive scheme. We engage more with the local community through social media and through local rags and things like that. We support our staff as much as we possibly could, whether that be furlough, training, or simply, certainly during this pandemic, just putting an arm around them and making sure they're all right. We are financially considerate throughout, and that was a really important part of what Teresa and I did in the office, is making sure that the club was sustainable moving forward by making the right decisions at the right time. We adapted, we made decisions quickly and with the membership at the heart of every decision. I can't emphasize that enough. Delivery of the winter course program, we were successful in achieving the Winter Resilience Fund, or the Economic Resilience Fund rather, and we managed to get some funding as well from the RNA Winter Resilience Fund. I think we were one of the main clubs in Wales to get that. And right back, I went to the award ceremony for this. We received the Ultimate Service Award, and this was going to be the start of our year. And it's disappointing that we obviously couldn't build on this, but we were awarded the 59 Club Service Award. We maintained our brand throughout and our presence, and this is something that we felt it was really important, or I felt was really important. Throughout the lockdown, we maintained the brand identity. We built up social media and direct mail. We also took advantage of the lockdown period to try and use our brand colours that we created, but also use the lockdown to influence our marketing, such as this. We also showed the quality of the golf course and the progress being made at certain times and the work that was going on. And this has had some great feedback from people who follow us and who have seen our marketing over the last couple of months. Our marketing also reflects the history of the club. We also try and engage with some of our members. So we did videos, and we had the likes of Mr. Williams send us photos in of things that members had achieved, and that goes a long way in showing what our club is all about. The history, as I said, is vitally important, but the consistency of this marketing has kept us at the forefront of people's minds, and the club, when it's operational again, will benefit from that. And we are seeing comments and people wanting to join our club because of this. These are some of the things that we've learned. Our members are hugely supportive. Our committee are massively committed. Our staff are professional and hardworking. Our course is admired. Our membership is sought after. Our club has the opportunity to develop with investment. Our new members are welcomed. Our families are more important to us than ever. And we all know that off the back of this pandemic. Our community will support us. They really will. And I think I can't wait till the time we are open again. And I think the community will come back into us. And this is just one that Zoom slowly melts your brain. And I think that's one thing I definitely learned, and most of our committee learned as we went through it as well. To our staff and our committee, I haven't written anything on this, and it is quite simply a thank you. To our club captain, who came in at one of the most difficult periods. In January, we had some great plans, and Michelle has worked really, really hard. To each of my staff members, they have been fantastic in terms of their commitment to Rada Golf Club, and the changes they've had to go through and adapt to, and I can't thank them enough. And I know that when 2020 starts again, we will be in a position where we can hit the ground running again. So all of the people on the committee and the subcommittees, thank you very much. Your efforts never go unnoticed, and we're very grateful as a group of staff to be able to have some really positive people on our committee at a time where we needed it. And thank you to the members, obviously, as well. Without your support, this club wouldn't be what it is. I remember exactly where it was when I heard this presentation and when I heard this statement being made, and Rishi Sunak announcing everything that he did announce right at the beginning, and has continued to support businesses as much as he can, some more than others, I know. But the bottom line there is we want to remember how we thought of others first and acted in decency. And I think that typifies what we tried to do at RADA. We've acted with decency, and we've always thought of the members first. We've always thought of what is best for our members. it might not have always just seemed that way. Some of the decisions that we had to make were forced upon us, but I'm sure you all understand the position that we found ourselves in most cases. To sustain the future of our, we need the support of those present tonight to help us overcome one of the most difficult periods in our history. No one fancy said that. That was simply me. I genuinely mean that, and I know that the people in this room, I think we've got nearly 200, if I'm right, Theo, will be there to support us. Thanks as always for listening. I know we're going to go into the main AGM now, and if you've got any questions for me after the AGM or tomorrow, or if you want to come and speak to me in the office, please do. Thanks very much.